Hi everybody, happy Wednesday. Today I'm announcing the winners of my February Composer of the Month project for my piano studio. I have 4 winners. The first one up is Luca Delbene. Luca is a 7th grader at the Folsom School, and he handed in our first ever slideshow. Now, this is so cool. I know the older kids have to do these things in school a lot, but I never got one for my history projects. This isn't translating well on here because like a lot of his slides are black, but it's really beautiful. I'm going to show the kids when they're here at their lessons. And let me see. So some of the information Luca found was that, I love this one, Tchaikovsky actually trained to become a lawyer. At first, his parents were thrilled about his musical skills, but as he was growing up, they thought it would be more useful and practical to do a job with government. So he trained to study law, and he did have some lower level positions in Russia working in law, but then he got accepted to the St. Petersburg Conservatory, which was new at the time actually, but he was one of the first students at that conservatory. He started taking piano lessons when he was 7 years old. He loved Shakespeare, and he was the second of 6 children. So those are some of the things that Luca found. I love the little ending. This we can see really well. It's beautiful, isn't it? Good job, Luca. I love when older students participate in these things. The actions of teenagers inspire the younger children. I have a ton of high school and middle school students this year. In fact, I have 6 high school students graduating high school this year. So I just love the teenagers. I love when they do these things. I know they're so busy with their AP classes and sports, etc. But thank you, Luca, and this is awesome. Okay, the next one. So this is from my 2nd grader, Adrianna Kollias. Go big or go home, right? Look at this piece of artwork. It's so amazing. Adrianna is a 2nd grader at the West School. She really represented some of Tchaikovsky's most famous works, and they all happen to be ballets. So we have Sleeping Beauty, we have Swan Lake, and we have the Nutcracker. And those are 3 of his most famous pieces. He was commissioned to write many ballets, although his first ballet that he wrote was Swan Lake. And Swan Lake was not well received when it first premiered. It was criticized, his music was criticized for being too complex, and the choreography was criticized for being too basic. But despite that fact, it did have a very long run. It ran for 6 years, and it had 41 performances, which was really, really big at that time. And based off of that, he got commissioned to write more ballets. And at first, he was not into this. Like, he did not want to write the music for ballets. He thought it was like beneath him. But once he studied it and looked into other composers who did such things, he really embraced it. So his next ballet was The Sleeping Beauty, and that was very, very successful. And if you watch the Disney movie Sleeping Beauty, like the cartoon, the animated movie from long ago, his main piece is used as the song that the princess sings, that's really famous from the Walt Disney movie. And then Tchaikovsky's most well-known ballet, of course, is the Nutcracker. And it's still running today. And it actually, right now in Philadelphia, Swan Lake is running. And I highly recommend, if you've never seen the Nutcracker by the Philadelphia Ballet, because they run it every year. And right now they're doing Swan Lake until March 16th. I recommend going. It's just amazing. And this I thought was interesting. The Sleeping Beauty runtime was 4 hours long, but that was like his most successful ballet back during his time period when it premiered. So I love Adrianna's representation of the ballets. And she also listed that he was a really big fan of Beethoven. So am I. So I love that. I love learning that about Tchaikovsky. So thank you, Adrianna. Next we have, I love these projects that these boys both handed in. This one is by Luciano Perone. He drew a beautiful image of Tchaikovsky. He found that Tchaikovsky's music is considered it's lasting over time because of its power and its communicative range. He composed operas, concertos, choral works, and symphonies. So in addition to like his ballets that are really well known, the 1812 Overture is really well known. He also wrote the theme to Romeo and Juliet, which is very well known. So thank you so much, Luciano. He's one of my winners. And then our next winner is Luke Dillon. He's a second grader at the Folsom School. I love this. And props to Luke. He handed in his project first. I always love a student when they meet a deadline. He found, so some of the things that are very interesting that Luke found to me are the challenges that Tchaikovsky faced. So he suffered from depression. And in fact, with his success at music, he became a bit of a celebrity during his time, and he really did not like that. He was more of an introvert. He didn't like the attention. He had a lot of self-doubt. He did not take the criticism of his music very well. And, you know, in the arts, there's always critics. Russian critics thought his music wasn't Russian enough, and he really embraced the methods and the techniques of Western European music. So he tried to show that in his music, and the Russian critics wanted his music to sound more Russian. And he also, this one is a big one for me too, he had stage fright, which I think is really interesting, especially as I'm training all these children to perform, and it's a very common thing for performers to have the jitters. So I like to share with kids when I find out that there's really famous people who also have stage fright, you know, you're not alone. This one, a few of the kids found that Tchaikovsky loved to pick mushrooms. He composed his first song at age 4. And, you know, he wrote during the Romantic time period. So the Romantic time period of music is when music really focused on emotions and the story of the music, rather than just the order and the structure. And that's it, really. We found so much stuff. I didn't really know much about Tchaikovsky. I personally have not played a ton of his music. I did play, in high school, I played a lot from the Nutcracker Suite, like at Christmas time. This music, of course, was written for orchestra. And in fact, so Tchaikovsky wrote the Nutcracker Suite before the ballet. This premiered first, and this was actually premiered to great success. But then the Nutcracker Ballet wasn't as well received as just his music was. But over time, of course, it's lasted all these years. I mean, so it resonates with people, with the story it tells and the beauty of the music and the dance. So this is really cool. Tchaikovsky, most of his piano pieces actually were written for intermediate or students. He was a teacher as well. So this is music I did play too when I was young. And with researching Tchaikovsky lately, I found this, the Seasons. Now, this is more advanced piano music, and I'm so interested in this. I'm going to work on some of the pieces. It's called the Seasons, and so each movement is representative of a month. So they're very cool. Like I recommend you guys go listen to them. But I'm going to be working on some. I got to get going on this. Our next composer of the month is going to be Claude Debussy. He is a French composer, and he really helped bring about the Impressionist movement of music. Submissions are due March 20th, and I hope all my students participate. Thank you. Bye.